Sharing drone footage is great, but we keep seeing the same fundamental error. Let's talk about it and how to avoid it. Hi, I'm Ash from DroningON, and in this video we're going to talk about one of the biggest fundamental errors that drone operators make when they shoot their video footage and get it online. It's all about consistency and producing that lovely, smooth, cinematic look. To start with, watch this clip that we shot specifically for this video, and while you're watching it, consider what you think might be wrong. Did you spot the issue? You might have noticed this in many of the drone footage videos that you've watched online. And the error in this video is that as this drone is moving forward, the shot looks lovely, but then all of a sudden there's some unexpected, inconsistent movement of the drone changing direction. That's the error that you need to cut out of your drone videos. Whenever you're shooting drone footage, you need to make sure that the direction of the drone and the shot is consistent in movement, because adding jerky or unexpected movement changes into the shot just confuses the user, and it also differentiates that clip from that of a professional and an amateur. We need to make sure we avoid making this error, and there are a few simple steps that we'll talk about now. So there will always be times when we're just flying to have fun, but there will also be times when you're flying to specifically shoot an object or a location, and in that case, you'll then probably be publishing the video online. And so it's essential that you plan your shots. Before you take off, have a think about where you're going to fly, the altitude, the distance away, the type of shot and the movement of the drone, and make sure that you consider that before you take off, because you don't want to waste valuable battery when you're already up there in the sky. The idea is that when you take off, you know immediately where to fly and which shots you're going to be capturing. As the old saying goes, fail to plan, plan to fail. It might also help you when you're doing that planning to actually write down the shots. Now I know it sounds a bit silly, but just write down a bullet list of the shot style, the altitude, the type of tracking and the movement of the drone, and then when you're up there, work through that list. Using this method, you're guaranteed to have a successful shoot and also make the most of your battery time. The next one is really important, and it's all about record and then stop. Many operators make the mistake of taking off, hitting record, and then just leaving it recording for the entire shot. And with drone batteries like the Mavic Air 2 now offering 34 minutes of flight time, that equates to a very, very big file. Remember, if you shoot in 4K, you're going to be filling that SD card up in a matter of minutes, depending on how big it is. And not only that, but you've got to store these files somewhere afterwards. I have a habit of keeping a library of all of my drone footage so that I can use it in the future, but I couldn't do that if every file was 30 gigabytes in size. For that reason, when you're up there, don't hit record immediately, just record the pieces of footage that you want. This refers back to the last bit of advice as well. Plan to start recording before your shot and stop recording after you've captured that shot. Then move to your next location for the start of the next shot, start recording, complete the shot, and stop. The benefit here is not just also about file sizes, but also performance afterwards in editing. A smaller file is much easier to edit, and also of course a smaller file is much better to store afterwards. It means that if you do take a shot and you're not happy with it, you just delete that file. But if you've got a really badly choreographed shot in the middle of a 30 gigabyte chunk, there's not a lot you can do about it unless you actively trim the file, and that requires overhead. Nobody wants to have to do that. Now here's a key one, be consistent with your direction, and this relates directly to the point that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. If you do change direction just slightly, or as you're ascending you notice that you move a little bit to the left or a bit to the right, cut that piece out. If you leave it in there, the viewer will see it, and I guarantee that it will ruin your end result. So don't leave it in there. Even if it means you have to drop a really pretty shot, just do it, because otherwise you sacrifice the rest of that production for that one failed shot. Now you can use tools in applications like Adobe Premiere to stabilize footage, but quite often you end up with a wonky result because Warp Stabilizer stretches, pans, scans and zooms the footage, and you quite often notice that manipulation in the end result. Also, panning and scanning using Warp Stabilizer downgrades the resolution of your footage, and that in comparison to the rest of the footage will stand out, so just don't do it. So hopefully those tips will help you to get better drone footage as a result, but also let's just have a look at the editor and show you how you can fix some of these in the editing process. So we're in Adobe Premiere here, which is a very common video editor and a really good one, but there's others out there such as DaVinci Resolve, and there's even a free version of that, so certainly give it a try. But anyway, here's my clip from the Mavic Mini, and I can skip through the clip here and all the various shots. Now for this example, I just shot this literally and introduced some jerky movements on purpose to show you what we need to do. Let's take this first opening shot here. If I just extend the preview window a little bit, and you'll see as I play this, first of all, the shot's not moving, then it starts to move and its speed ramps up and accelerates. Then I start to ascend. Now to keep the movement consistent here, what I need to do is find the point at which the shot not only starts to move forward, but starts to ascend. Because you'll notice the shot first of all goes forward, then it goes up. So I would say it starts to ascend there. I'm going to set my starting point there. The next point is to decide how long do I want this shot to last, and have I started at the right point here as well. So if I press play, this is quite a nice shot, bit of a reveal shot coming up over the tree and to the sea. You'll notice the movement right now is still consistent. We're moving forwards and we're ascending at a really good rate. Really pleased with that shot, and then it stops and turns. So at that point, what I want to do is find the point at which that shot stops the consistent movement, which is about there. You see, that's the point at which I yaw. So I'm going to put in my end point there, and now I can drag that into my timeline. And there we have it. So that's our first shot. Let's now find the next shot. So I know that in here there's some of the water, so this is quite nice, but you see I'm moving around, I'm getting into the right position, and then I start to move forward. Let's play it from here. And then as I move forward, suddenly I start to tilt the gimbal up, and it's at that point, the reveal, that I want to start my shot at. So what I need to do is find the beginning again, where I'm starting to tilt. So you see here, we're just moving forwards at this point here. The point at which the gimbal tilts upwards is about there, and that's where I want to start my shot. Next, I want to again find the consistent movement end, which if I scroll it up here, there, you see we turn to the right at that point. So I'm going to crop it just as the gimbal stops panning upwards, which is about there. And cut that shot, and again, drag it into my timeline. And this is the common mistake that very often you find that the drone operators, maybe a new drone, or they're just not sure about editing, they leave this whole sequence in with all the inconsistency and hesitancy, and it just ruins it. So we'll try and find one more for this example now to make this a really nice combination. So here's the shot, opening shot again. You notice first of all getting into position. So if I play this, we're going left to right a bit, and then the shot starts and I start to then ascend. So I'll now start to find again the beginning of the consistent movement. You can often find that by scrubbing fast. So I can see there's wobble, 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 and then consistent movement. So the start of it is roughly there, move up to the top, and the end of it is there, roughly. So I'll put in my end point, again, drag it into the timeline, and now through that simple bit of editing, we've got what hopefully will be a fairly nice sequence. At this point, we've not applied any color grading to it or anything like that at all. What we may want to do is just apply some very simple cropping of the top and bottom. This is a very common effect, and it just gives you a nice kind of cinematic look, as you'll notice. So I've got no color grading, remember, but if I now play this sequence, you'll notice that we just get very consistent movements, nice planning shots, and a really nice reveal there where the viewer is going to see what looks like a pretty professional looking render. Now, of course, once you add color grading to this, maybe some little vignetting, balancing the horizon as well to make sure that all of the shots are level, you can get a really nice result very easily. So there we go. Hopefully this video has been really useful. Add this one to your bookmarks because hopefully you'll come back to it and share it, because I want to see the wider community producing much better footage online. But ultimately, this is not just about producing footage for everyone else, it's about flying and enjoying it. So in between the shoots that are planned and prepared, just get up there and fly around and have some fun, because it's not always fun flying to a schedule and an agenda. Sometimes it's just nice to get up there and fly freely. Anyway, comment below with your thoughts and also mention if you'd like to see other videos like this on getting better drone footage out of your drone. Give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you're just ignorant. And of course, hit that subscribe button. Thanks very much for watching.